Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation, How to Master Convenience Store Online Ordering with Rutters. Now, before we get started, I just want to give a quick overview of today's agenda. We're going to begin by sort of setting the scene, discussing how online ordering has taken hold in the convenience store industry, and then we'll dial into the Rutters story. We're going to look at how Rutters has seen success combining online ordering and loyalty, as well as some of the steps that they took to plan for a successful launch, primarily around the operations and marketing realm. And then we're going to look at some success benchmarks to round out the presentation. I'm very excited today to be joined by Rutter's Chris Hartman, the VP of Fuels, Advertising and Development, and Paytronix's Donnie Fairbanks, a Senior Loyalty Strategist. My name is Ryan DeLello. I'm a Content Specialist for Paytronix, and I'm going to be your moderator today. So let's get started. A quick survey of the headlines show convenience stores are investing in food service, a backbone of the online ordering industry. And in many ways, the pandemic shifted the focus for brands from physical to more digital experiences. And now it's clear that online ordering is here to stay. Y'all, I've compiled some quotes from thought leaders in the industry, and I'd like to pose them to you as sort of icebreakers for our conversation. And the first actually comes from our friends at NACS. They say convenience store retailers view online ordering and delivery as the top technologies for improving food service profitability. Extending the reach of food service sales outside of the store is seen as the most effective way to boost for food service potential. And now on that note, I want to open up the floor and I'll start with Chris. Chris, I'm wondering how the Rutters brand history in food service and its extensive menu today contributed to the decision to launch online ordering.
Well, thank you, Ryan. Happy to be here. Really, our background has been in food since the founding of our dairy in 1921. And, it really is about, the ability to serve the customer in the best way possible. And in the way that they're looking to be served. And if you think about it, convenience is in our name, convenience stores. So each customer has their own needs and desires in terms of speed of service, what they're looking for in a food item, how many items they want. And so depending on, what they're looking for depends on how they're looking to get it. And so for us, we realize that, with our breadth of menu that we have, it's very large and certain items can take longer than others. And our customers are very time starved. And so when, a time starved customer wants, something that maybe takes a little bit longer than a hot dog or a grab and go item, they may not be willing to wait for it, but they still want it. And so our ability to now add that depth of, how they can order and how they can purchase items and giving them the ability to schedule it out was really something that fit right into our model of trying to be, convenient and really, living up to our slogan, which is why go anywhere else.
That's excellent, Chris. Moving on to the next quote. Frank Beard, a retail analyst, says, an eventual decline in fuel demand risks a shakeout of America's convenience store network in areas where there's a prevalence of home charging. Retailers will have to become destinations for something else, and smokes and cokes is unlikely to be enough. Donnie, we'll start with you on this one. Are we entering an era in which C-stores need to offer more than cokes and smokes to stick around and appeal to today's customer?
I would say all the conversations we've had with our many C-store clients would indicate that absolutely yes. I came into Paytronix about 2.5 years ago, and of our 40 accounts, I've probably touched more than half of them directly. And it was amazing to me the level of conversation around food service and how important it was to the future of their business. And the more I've become acclimated within the category, it is an essential element because the world is changing. Gas is going to be around, but as a core driver, its influence is going to wane a little bit as things progress. And yeah, you better have a backup plan. And Rutter's was lucky enough to have had their equity built in that backup plan. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, speaking of that backup plan, I want to turn this quote to Chris now. Chris, before the presentation we were talking about, you said the food is really key for understanding customers' habits and dialing into them in a diverse and personalized way. I'm wondering if you can speak to kind of, yeah, how food service is not even a backup for smokes and cokes, how it is really marks an evolution in C-Store's identity.
Well, it absolutely is. And for us, we actually were doing food service before we could sell fuel, because in Pennsylvania, we weren't allowed to sell fuel in our early days of convenience. So we were a store that, yes, we had the smokes and the cokes, but we had food available. And as a food company, it really for us was learning how to do fuel, which maybe is a little bit different than others in the industry. And our mindset is that good diversification is really key to long-term success. However, while we can say that food service is critical and something that many, if not all, in our industry should be looking at or implementing, you've got to be very strategic with it, because the trust from the customer is what will determine the success in food service. You wouldn't go to a restaurant you didn't trust the quality of their food, the handling of their food, or anything else that had to do with it, because you could get ill, other things could happen. So that's where for us it's having that trust, having that variety that really allows us then to have that wide breadth of menu. And with that variety, we get a variety of customers, which again allows us to collect more data and see what that large group of customers is looking for. Where are they leaning? Are they trending towards healthier items? Are they trending towards comfort food? Are they, is there a certain segmentation that is leaning in different areas? And using that data, we're able to provide even better service and even better food items for them that, keep them coming back to our stores.
Absolutely. Oh, that all makes sense. And I think really key to point out there how food is sort of a gold mine of data, if you will, just being able to understand guest habits and overall trends in a way more enriched way. I've got another quote for y'all. This one comes from CSP. So how are C-stores creating fresh food programs that rival some of the nation's biggest quick service restaurants? Primarily, convenience store retailers are turning to the back-of-house technology currently used in QSR kitchens. Back-of-house technology often addresses multiple processes and problems found in food service programs. So on that note, Chris, I mean, from the kiosks to a custom mobile app and now online ordering, how has technology opened new capacities in the Rutter's food menu and the Rutter's guest experience?
Oh, it's been critical to really unlocking not only the ability to do food service in a expedited manner, but then to the ability to have a variety of items that QSRs really don't offer. If you look at a QSR menu, they might have 30 to 50 items, or combinations really total. You get ketchup or no ketchup, you get onions or no onions. But for us, we have actually a few billion combinations. And the reason we're able to do that is because we have the technology to deliver it. If you're ordering something fried, it goes to the fried station. It doesn't get delivered verbally to someone who has to then go deliver it verbally to someone back behind the counter. It's all flowing through to the right place. And the best utilization of technology is in managing labor. And so it allows our labor to be really efficient. And by doing that, it maximizes the profitability in the food service area, which is a profitable area to begin with. So the more you use technology appropriately, the more you can really navigate the food service, system and expectations of customers in terms of speed, and execution and quality, because you're not losing focus or creating too many different touch points that could cause wrong items or mistakes to happen.
Absolutely. And I think one thing that the C-store industry is doing really well is just what you said, framing technology as sort of a way to manage labor and sort of minimize the amount of menial work or inefficiencies in your operations, as opposed to replace someone. I think that's really key. So but it's classic my quirk. I just like to delve into things. But for those who in the audience, Chris, who might not be familiar with the Rutters brand, you've already given us some sense of who Rutters is, but I'm wondering if you can just kind of introduce the audience a bit more.
Absolutely, happy to do that. So Rutters started as a farm, and it's been in my family since 1747 here in York, Pennsylvania. We still have the farm. It was given to us by William Penn's grandson, Springett Penn, and over the generations, we went from being farmers to starting a dairy in 1921. And when that happened, it opened up different possibilities for us as a family and as a growing business. And so my grandfather's generation started our convenience stores in 1968, and from there, it's continued to grow from Rutter's farm stores to now we're just Rutters. And my father's generation, who's still in the business and helping to run it, has grown it to where we are now, building 11,000 square foot stores that offer food service, offer gaming, offer alcohol, and a variety of fuels outside the store. And one of the things for us that's critical is loyalty. And so that's where as technology is expanded, we've really pushed heavily into loyalty and using that to continue to grow our brand in the areas that we operate in, which is currently Pennsylvania, Maryland, and West Virginia. But we're expanding more, and we're going to keep adding to our 85 locations.
That is awesome. I've been to Rutters once when visiting a friend in Pennsylvania and had no idea that I was stepping into the modern iteration of an establishment that's been around since the 1700s. Wild. So now we sort of bring it back to where we are in with today's Rutters. Y'all just launched an online ordering solution in March of this year. With some very handy bonus offers to kind of kick off the launch and generate some excitement. Chris, I don't know if you want to walk us through kind of how that approach was, as well as the food and drink available, and then we can sort of delve more in during the operations and marketing discussions to come. But just overview.
Sure, happy to do that. So, obviously, when you're gearing up to launch something as large as this, you have to really think about, what are you trying to do, and how are you going to get people to, be excited and utilize the technology that you're going to be offering. And so, currently we always have offered the 3-cent discount for our VIP members every day, and then there's stackable rewards on top of that. However, in our drive to continue to get more loyalty and more signups, we offer a 10-cent fuel discount when you utilize our app and you register. And then to really, kick this off even further with online ordering, we said, all right, we'll do a 25-cent fuel discount for folks. And with the way fuel prices have been at a higher level than most have been used to, I really think the response has been great in terms of just getting that first time user to try what we have. And then, it helps create return customers. If you can get that first trip and the experience is good, or that first use, the experience is good, then folks will continue to return. And so, the experience has been the real key for us once we get them, into the app and register with us.
Absolutely. And I want to delve more into that discussion here. Quickly, just sort of detouring, this is kind of These are some screenshots of the Rutter's app. Really incredible. It's a fully customized app with all of the functionalities that a typical C-store customer would want. Very navigable home menu, lots of options for customization, and excellent amount of loyalty, sort of progress transparency. Just really keeps the customer engaged as soon as they open the app, and it's easy to use. Now, Chris, picking up from where you were with operations and marketing, I want to start with marketing because obviously it's a big deal. I'm sure that Rutters was shouting this from the rooftops. What channels was Rutters using, and what was the planning process for marketing the launch of online ordering?
Well, first and foremost, this isn't a small task to get into online ordering. There really needs to be a thoughtful process behind it. And so it did take a number of months for us to get through the, steps necessary. And so in that time, you can walk and chew gum at the same time, or at least we hope we can here. And so while we were going through the operational steps, I also had my marketing team prepping everything to be ready for it. And in that scenario, we were really going, okay, we've got social media. Here's what we're going to do with social media. Here's our marketing plan here. We're going to do billboards because we want to make sure that folks, on the highway know, because they may be riding with their family or, whatever it is, and they can order ahead and be ready when they get to the store on their road trip. Commercials to just really hit home and let people know, hey, by the way, there's a new way to do things, which is you can order online with Rutters. And then the in-store signage and pump ads, and word of mouth is obviously something that is going to take place, but you can't control the message all the time. But when you have a good experience, that word of mouth is really critical. And so that's why for us, making sure we took the steps necessary to have that strong launch, that experience that customers would enjoy. That's the best marketing that you can really have.
Absolutely. So key to sort of develop both the experience and the sort of amplification of it in tandem. I want to look at the operations side. You said that menu testing was one big part of setting up the online ordering. What did testing the menu look like, and what were you testing?
So for us, it's this is a new technology, and so you have to test technology end to end to really make sure that there are no hitches in the giddy up, I guess, for lack of a better phrase there. And so the reason for that is, again, that experience that I talked about earlier. The experience that a customer has, especially that first time, is going to be critical to getting repeat customers. So, we really went through testing the menu multiple times over, many, many, many times, until we felt comfortable that, from the beginning, when someone places an order to them picking it up at the store, there wasn't any thing that was going to, cause an issue technologically. And then when the order got to the store, that it was delivering to the right KPS screen, and then the team member was able to get that order, prepare it, understand it's an online order, and place it in the right area for that. And that staff training is really key. But at the same time, I think that the best part for us is our employees were really excited to be able to do online ordering because of the volume of food service that we do. They saw it as kind of a way to maybe relieve the stress valve a little bit during the peak hours, like breakfast and lunch and dinner, when you have a lot of customers coming in, placing orders, and they're not able to take a breath sometimes because of how many orders are being placed. This gives them a little bit of relief there, because folks can do it, order ahead. It can be scheduled, or it's there isn't someone waiting there tapping their foot, saying, hey, how long does it take to put a hot dog on a bun? So that they're able to do that. And that excitement really drove the acceptance from our employees to make it successful as they, as we launched it and continue to have it. And so then it added incremental benefits as well, because customers are really happy with, the execution, and that's where, we've seen success, and it's really been minimal changes to our operations because of everything delivering in a very similar manner. I would say that the biggest change is just having to place it on an online ordering pickup spot versus, saying a number and having someone come up and pick it up. But yeah, really rigorous testing, I would say, is key, because you want that experience at launch to be as close to perfect as possible. And if you set your standard there, I can only speak from our experience, but I think we really saw success because of the standards we have.
Wow, that's really pertinent about, especially with regards to your point about online ordering kind of being the stress valve and almost just helping your staff manage orders a bit more. That's certainly not a point I've seen, very much in the media, and I think that it does go to the point of why online ordering is a win-win for the guest and the employee alike. My last question on operations was around reporting, and you've kind of touched on this, but you said reporting was really key, especially after the launch, as you were, able to tackle any small problems and kind of nip them in the bud before they, grew to any sort of problematic extent. Can you speak to what the reporting was like and why that was helpful?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reporting really allows us to just get insight into, one, do customers even like using our product, and two, is it doing what we intend it to do, which is not fully replace the in-store order, but to supplement it and to offer an alternative. And what we found is that it allows us to get more insight into customers. I mean, we've seen that the average ticket on an online order has been larger than tickets that someone would place in store. And at this current time, we only have our kiosk items on online ordering, so it's a very one-to-one ratio, because we can pull everything else out of the basket. And so we can really see that. And so again, it allows us to measure that success, and then measure, is there a pain point that we see, because we can get the customer feedback. We can see, is something not selling as much maybe online versus what it's selling in store. And by using that feedback, we can adjust, whether it's hey, we want to do a sale on this or a promotion on this, or we want to adjust the picture maybe that we have of the food item. Those are all things that we need to do. And is something not working? Are rewards being earned? Are they not being earned? If they're not being earned, what's going on? But we find it out quickly, and then we can make an adjustment and really get it nipped in the bud. And so honestly, the testing we did ahead of time really led to minimal issues, and there are issues that we could resolve within maybe a couple hours to at most a day. And so that's really made it great for us, and great for our customers, and great for our employees. And so that's what we are really excited about. And what's been great for our company in launching this is just adding another level to Rutter's Why Go Anywhere Else.
Absolutely, Chris. And I think that goes to show the reporting is so much more than kind of an operational fail-safe measure. It's a way, as you said, of continuously improving the menu, continuously improving rewards, constantly testing to make sure that what the customers are always browsing through and buying from you guys is as good as it can be. Moving from operations and marketing, I want to kind of make a handoff here to Donnie. Donnie, I'd like you to lead this discussion, because it really dials into how the Paytronix S&A team conceptualizes online ordering, and that is as an extension of a brand's loyalty program. And so maybe here, if we could kick off the discussion, kind of just talking about how online ordering and loyalty sort of mutually benefit one another. Donnie?
Sure. Thank you. Chris, that's great stuff. There's a very interesting story in all of this and how it's weaving together. I get the fortunate position of being able to share sort of my thoughts on how ordering and loyalty mesh up, but also the big numbers that this program has kind of driven. I'm a lifetime loyalty guy. From a strategy standpoint, I've done this for many, many years. So any component that brings more value to those loyalty programs is a big win. And this particular element, online ordering, it brings so much in terms of that point of connection with consumers on their mobile devices, where they're basically glued to throughout the day. It gives us as a brand, or us as a partner, and the brand as well, that data channel. So we know those interactions, we know what's going on with these folks, and we can communicate them based on those interactions, based on those orders. So it opens up that whole channel. Beyond that, it's bringing value to the consumer through discounts or just the ease of finding what they want and being able to customize it. And it enables us to do more personalization and extend that whole brand positioning around customer service and, making it very personalized throughout the whole process. So the two of these marry up very well together in terms of not just moving the behaviors specific to food ordering, but the broader loyalty program as well. And I'm going to hit both of those on separate slides with a lot of big numbers, but backing that up a little bit, just at a high level, online ordering, a couple sound bites here. That 18% increase in order frequency is across all of our C-store and restaurant clients. So it drives incrementality, and it does it efficiently just by having it. Rutters takes it to a whole nother level when they start to bring in their branding and that customer service centric approach. Then there's the first party ordering component of this. And first party ordering, the stark difference between the percentage, what we're calling attachment rate, is really the percentage of the users that are purchasing or ordering on loyalty, in that 41% versus third party, which is only 3%. And the visibility that gives the brand, again, to understand and kind of navigate that data and make it work harder for that customer, and also to be able to report accurately on the impact of ordering within the loyalty program. So moving on from that, let's jump into some big numbers here. So the first level of this is purely on a loyalty program level. So how's it impacting the broader loyalty program? And the first thing that'll jump out at you is enrollment, registration. It was surprising when we began these years ago, how much impact they actually have on the ability to acquire new people into your program. So the enrollment part of that is those are the people that are just getting cards and are actively using them, but have not registered. So we don't really know who they are. And that's a great stat to drive. But more important is that 30% increase in daily registration. So now we know who those folks are. And we're getting 30% more of them every single day to register for the program, to download the app, and to become customers. Specifically, that app, 39.2% increase. So it is the dangle of that carrot, which is online ordering, that's bringing them into that and really moving the needle. Like 40% increase. This is your best channel in terms of getting total value out of a consumer. When they're committing to you through your mobile, they're putting you on that limited space on their phone. And, it's a brand lift. It has impact above and beyond what the program itself will do without it. On a broader penetration standpoint, and penetration in our terms is the share of loyalty transactions on all purchases. So anything above 30% in the C-store space is high. 37% is in the stratosphere. And this happens to be from March the month this all launched, and it's the highest the brand has ever gotten to. So general program penetration, it had a big enough impact with nothing else really going on beyond the norm. So this was we could attribute it to this initiative and know that it was moving the needle on the core loyalty sales across the board. And then, not to be outdone, 15% visit volume. If you want to drive more people into your store, it doesn't seem like intuitively this is the channel necessarily. Yeah, it's mobile and it's ordering from abroad, but this is getting more folks into the actual stores at a high clip. And again, this is over that first 90 days of the program. This is going to continue to grow, stabilize a little, but we've seen it do nothing but grow. So now when we drill down a little bit and we actually look at the online ordering success. So the average check for those VIPs within the program, those are our registered users that are ordering, it's 10% more right off the top. They're ordering about 10% more on the value of each of those orders that they're placing. They're spending about 25 more per visit. And again, this is selectly that group that is participating in the program through active ordering. They're visiting 24%. These are sort of builds off of that other one, but specific, looking closer at just those, again, people that are ordering. The stark difference between the value of this audience is if you compare those that are ordering versus those who are not using the service yet. At the start of the program and prior, the 90 days prior to the program, it was about a 60% difference. So those folks that would ultimately become orders were already spending about 60% more than the non-ordering population. That number has gone up to 83 during the program. And again, this looks like it's a fairly stable rate. And the last number on here, that 3x order volume. So again, over the first 90 days, it almost doubled in the second month. And these are pretty high levels. We're not going to share that number with you, but to tell you that in the third month, we're at 3 times what we were in the first month. And June is only going to go up. So strong numbers, and they're strong because if you put together, again, a solid platform with a brand that has a solid food and customer service identity, it really starts to generate this sort of jump, if you will, in the performance of your program overall. And that's it, Ryan. Back to you.
Thanks so much, Johnny. Really staggering results. And as we get to the end of our presentation, I want to call attention to one central takeaway. It was a phrase that continued to come up when we were talking, Chris and Donnie, in advance of the presentation, and that's the Rutter slogan, "Why go anywhere else?" And Chris, I'm wondering how the recent decision to launch online ordering has brought new meaning to this "Why go anywhere else" slogan, and what it means for the brand today.
Well, just in general, it's the slogan is something that when all of us come to work each day, we operate in a way that says, are we giving customers a reason to go somewhere else, or are we only giving them a reason to come to Rutters? And if we can continue to find ways to have our customers say, Rutters, why would I go anywhere else? Then we are doing our part to really drive customers and satisfy them with the products we have, with the service we have, and that's the goal we strive for. It really is. It's that benchmark that we require and try to live up to every day. And so really the addition of online ordering was another step to continue to have customers say that. And it's kind of one of those things. If you're in this business, you have to evolve and you have to grow in the right ways. And our industry is always evolving. Again, we talked about smokes and cokes being what 30 years ago, what was the perception of our industry, and now to see where things are with mobile ordering and large food service programs and, gaming and alcohol and all sorts of other opportunities, it's critical to, combine those products and services with technology to drive customers to your stores. And so, when we said we're going to go do online ordering and we're going to try to be the best at it, that's the goal that we set, and it's because of the why go anywhere else. If you're not trying to be the best at it, then someone's going to go somewhere else. And so I think we've been very successful in it, and I'm really happy with the results I've seen. And now we're going to keep pressing the envelope and saying, okay, what else can we do? Is there more we can do with the online ordering? Is there more we can do with our app and technology to keep that that motto going strong?
I love that. Thanks, Chris. Well, y'all, nicely done on time. We're just coming up shy of 40 minutes here, so we've got some time for questions. I see a few came in during the presentation, but I would welcome anyone else in the audience to start submitting those questions now. We'll start with, I assume that this is going to be for Chris, but Chris, one person asks, what percentage of total sales go through your app versus app orders that have prepared food in the basket? I wonder if you can give any sort of like rough approximation of what the sort of in-store versus ordering is.
Currently it's not an extremely large percentage, but as Donnie touched on, it's very new and it's growing at a pretty rapid clip. So we see it as something that, again, we're only offering our kiosk items, which again, our food service is large, and our menu is large, and there are some handcrafted beverages that you can get on there, but we don't currently offer beverages. And so there's more opportunities for us to add items, whether it's beverages or tobacco or alcohol or whatever, as this grows out, and as maybe laws change and regulations change, who knows what else there could be, what other opportunities there are. But to be in it is really critical, for us, and we're excited to continue growing it and seeing where else we can take it now that we have our feet on the ground with what I'll consider the initial piece, which was getting our food menu going.
Sure, makes sense. We have another question, clarification, asking whether the numbers presented a couple slides ago were for Rutter's specifically or across Paytronix's entire customer network. I can answer that question. Very rare. Those last two slides, Brett, were from Rutter's performance with online ordering and loyalty. But the 3 slides ago, the first slide with numbers, those figures represented Paytronix's entire customer network. We've got another question that says, what are your app sales percentages used as a KPI? And if so, what is the goal? Do you incentivize your management team for hitting this goal? Chris, I imagine you can probably at least touch on the latter part of that question.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on the first part and just say, yes, of course, it's used as a KPI. We certainly want to look at, what is the skew in one way or the other, and again, the app allows us to add incremental sales to, again, those folks that are looking for an even quicker service than what we can provide, which again is only maybe 5-6 minutes in store. They want it to be 30 seconds. Okay, well, we can offer you 30 seconds because all you got to do is get out of your car and go grab it. But for us, we see incentivizing folks to just push one way or the other, not, maybe not being the best goal, but to say, okay, how can we continue to make our food offering even better, which will just grow that base. And now we have more avenues for folks to, really order our food and take advantage of what we're looking for. And so it's not as much of saying, hey, I want you to push online ordering versus ordering in store. It's more of, okay, you have this new opportunity to sell to people that maybe you couldn't sell before. So now, how are you working the menu and working with the technology to increase that while also increasing our in-store sales and just continuing to grow that base? So I'm not biased one way or the other. I just want more sales.
Absolutely. Makes sense. We have another question that says, are there merchandise categories, that you're not selling online, or is it currently limited to food service?
Well, okay. I think, to answer that, the answer is it's food service, anything from our kiosk, which would be, our food items, along with handcrafted beverages, which would be some specialty coffees, our Rutter shakes, things of that nature. But currently we do not offer anything like fountain or bottled beverages or tobacco or alcohol or anything like that. Via online ordering, we simply offer what our kiosks can offer.
Got it. And that makes sense. If a customer comes in, grabs some online order, it's easy enough to throw in a fountain drink or a bottled drink. Y'all, I'm not seeing any more questions. I'll give it another minute in case anyone, maybe has one typed out and is flipping a coin. But other than that, I thank everyone so much for coming to today's webinar. Chris and Donnie, thank you both for your time. This was a really excellent conversation.
Happy to do it, Ryan, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thanks all.